The last days of August are carrying a charge that most won't notice until everything around them starts moving in directions they can't control. This is not hype. This is prophecy. August 28th, 29th and 30th unlock one of the most charged manifestation windows of the entire year. You've been building toward this all month. Every trial, every restless night, every flicker of hope you've held onto has been shaping the vessel you now carry. But here's the truth few will tell you. One wrong move, one careless opening, and all of that sacred power can scatter before it seals. The hours ahead are not ordinary. They are a countdown. So stay with me. But first, do 3 things. Like this video, subscribe, and type 777 in the comments below. Between August 28th to 30th, a rare alignment opens a gateway that intensifies the rhythm of time itself. These closing days of August don't move in a straight line. They spiral, bending events toward a point of convergence that has been building all month. August 29th carries the energy of thresholds, echoing the ancient myths of Janus, the keeper of doors, who looked both backward and forward at once. It is a day of dual vision. One eye on what is closing, the other on what is about to be born. By August 30th, the alignment sharpens. This date has long been tied to harvest rituals, when communities gathered under the moon to mark what had ripened and what must be carried forward. It is a moment where what has grown inside you meets the turning of the greater cycle, sealing intentions into motion that cannot be easily undone. Right now, there is a shift running through you that can't be brushed aside. It's not random. It's been building for weeks, gathering like a hidden current under everything you've been carrying. And the truth is, the version of you that once felt enough is being stretched into something more luminous, more undeniable. You may have caught it in strange ways, the sudden jolt of déjà vu that leaves you certain you've been here before, or those wake-ups when your body stirs as if something bigger than you is calling you to attention. These aren't accidents, they're signals, the small cracks in ordinary life where the deeper current begins to show itself. This isn't surface change through the center of who you are, calling you to remember the parts of yourself you've ignored. It's the quiet but powerful reminder that you were never made to stay small, never meant to stay dim. The alignment working through these days is asking you to expand into the fullness you've been preparing for all along. Ancient teachers spoke of times like this as turning points where the soul receives new light, not light you chase outside of you, but light that rises within. It rearranges how you speak, how you stand, how you allow others to meet you. Patterns that drained you lose their grip, while strength you forgot you had begins to anchor itself deeper. Why does it matter? Because this is not about chasing a future that's somewhere far away. It's about recognizing that the future has already entered the room. Every test you endured, every doubt you carried, every moment you almost gave up, but didn't, that was the refining fire, shaping you into someone who can hold more than you once thought possible. Your inner body of light is shifting so you can magnetize what has always been circling closer. You won't need to force it, and you won't need to force it, and you won't need to over-explain it. You'll know it by the way alignment starts to arrive naturally, without resistance. This is why these days matter. The alignment is not casual. It is a calling, and you are standing at the edge of becoming who you were always meant to be. Between the 28th of August and the 30th, many are moving through currents that the mind can't explain, but the soul understands. The body has been carrying signals that something larger is unfolding. Long nights where sleep feels impossible, a heaviness that drifts in the morning, and sudden waves of release that seem to come from nowhere. These aren't flaws, they're markers of activation, signs that you are syncing with a rhythm beyond the ordinary clock. Some have noticed the sharp ringing in the ears, almost like frequencies breaking through, tuning you to a wavelength you didn't even realize you could hear. Others are experiencing the heart pulling in unusual ways, as if it's stretching to hold more than before. These shifts can be disorienting, but they are evidence that your inner framework is expanding. What looks like fatigue, What looks like interruption is actually recalibration. Emotionally, it can be intense. Tears surfacing without clear reason, sudden bursts of laughter, or a strange emptiness that lingers after conversations. All of these are the clearing away of layers that no longer belong to the next chapter of you. When emotions rise, they aren't setbacks. They are the evidence that the walls are coming down and the real you is stepping forward. Think of it like the sky shifting before a storm. The winds change, the atmosphere thickens, and then everything clears into a new kind of stillness. That is what is happening within. The body holds the signals, the emotions echo them, and together they tell the story of transformation that words alone can't carry. These days aren't asking you to fight the symptoms or push them away. They're asking you to recognize that you're being stretched into more space, more clarity, more alignment. Every moment of tiredness, every restless night, every unexpected surge of emotion is not a problem. It's a passage. It's proof that you're in sync with a shift that only the awakened can hold. In these 3 days of August, something stirs beneath the surface that can no longer be ignored. Old echoes rise, fears you thought you silenced, memories you tucked away, emotions you kept hidden under a smile. They resurface, not to break you, but to be witnessed, to be understood, and finally to be released. What comes up now is not random. It is the unfinished business of the soul asking for its closure. This is the territory that Carl Jung spoke of when he described the shadow, the parts of us we deny, repress, or project onto others. But the shadow isn't the enemy. It is the mirror that shows us where healing has been postponed, where truth has been locked away. When shame, jealousy, anger, or grief rise during these days, they are not proof of weakness. They are reminders of where the light has not yet reached. The heart may carry the weight of old relationships, unspoken words, or choices you wish you could rewrite. Instead of burying them again, this cycle invites you to sit with them, to see them as teachers, not punishment. Karmic threads may unravel now, bringing people, images, or situations back into focus, not because you are trapped, but because the soul is offering you a chance to release what no longer belongs to your future. Even the body echoes this process. Tiredness, heaviness, or sudden waves of emotion are not malfunctions. They are the body's way of purging what has lingered too long. To resist is to suffer. To lean in is to transform. Healing isn't always soft. It is raw. It asks for honesty. It asks for courage. The moon in this passage shines not only on what is beautiful, but on what has been avoided. And when light touches the hidden begins to lose its power. This is why tears flow without explanation, why certain memories return like shadows on the wall. They rise because the time has come to free them. These 3 days are not punishment, they are purification. What surfaces now is not here to destroy you, but to show you the truth of who you are once you are no longer carrying what was never meant to be yours. From today, the moon is no longer only watching you, it is working through you. A current of energy begins to move inside, dissolving the heaviness you once carried, and replacing it with an unfamiliar brightness. This is not imagination, it is a recalibration, a reset, designed to remind you that you were never ordinary. You are standing inside a turning point where the old story loses its hold, and a new current of power begins to write itself into your body, your mind, and your spirit. Transformation is never comfortable, but it is always liberating. What rises now is not chaos, but renewal. Light codes move like electricity through your field, reawakening the centers that had gone quiet, reactivating chakras that were waiting for this moment to turn on again. The body might pulse, the mind might race, yet underneath all of it, something steady is being born, clarity, vision, and a strength that does not come from effort, but from alignment with what you truly are. You may discover that words flow differently, that your intuition sharpens, that your inner voice grows louder. These are not accidents, they are activation. The black moon portal of August opens pathways for spiritual gifts to surface. gifts that were buried under layers of fear, doubt, and conditioning. They return now because you are finally ready to carry them without shrinking, without apology. Energy moves where courage resides. And in these days, courage is not about forcing outcomes. It is about surrendering to the surge that carries you. Think of it as an upgrade to your inner wiring. The heart receives a new rhythm. The mind releases outdated beliefs. The soul retrieves the fragments it had scattered across time. What remains is a whole being, awake to possibility, awake to purpose. And purpose does not whisper. It burns into every decision, every interaction, every path you walk. This is why transformation feels so magnetic. You will find yourself drawn toward new spaces, new voices, new calling. The people who no longer match your frequency will fade, and those who are meant to rise with you will appear as if they had been waiting just outside the doorway. Rebirth is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to what was always hidden beneath the noise. The moon marks this as an initiation, a reminder that your energy field is not passive, but alive, recalibrating, rewriting itself with every breath. What looked like endings were only thresholds, and what looked like loss was preparation for this ignition. From this activation forward, every choice holds more weight, every step radiates more influence. The more you align with this surge, the more your outer life bends to match your inner transformation. This is not the end of your story. It is the moment the real story finally begins. August 28th to 30th becomes more than a date on the calendar. It forms a crossing point where personal transformation collides with the global rhythm. What begins inside individuals does not remain contained. It ripples outward, altering connections, shaping conversations, and rewriting the subtle undercurrent of how we move together. This is how awakening spreads, not as a single flash of light, but as countless sparks, each one igniting within a different person until the atmosphere itself hums with renewal. The moon during these nights acts like a mirror, amplifying what people carry in their core. Those who have been quiet within themselves may discover an unexpected boldness, while others may be urged to release what has weighed on them for years. It is not simply personal growth, it is collective recalibration. One person's courage becomes a signal, and another responds, as if invisible threads are weaving communities into alignment. Energy shift is not abstract, it shows up in the simplest places. The tone of public conversations begins to shift. The focus of communities slowly changes direction. Even in the smallest gestures, how people speak, how they choose, how they move, there is a new texture, a resonance that was not there before. What happens on the global stage is never disconnected from what individuals embody. The world does not change because of distant events. It changes when countless people, one by one, begin to radiate something new. This is why the Black Moon portal of August is not just another moment in the sky. It is a marker of how individual awakening converges into a collective turning point. Each inner activation adds weight to the global field, like countless stones dropped into a river, reshaping the way the current flows. Alone, one change may seem small. Together, they bend the entire direction of the stream. As the moon moves through this phase, notice how restlessness in societies can give way to breakthroughs. Where there has been tension, conversations may open. Where there has been silence, new voices rise. Change does not only belong to leaders or movements. It belongs to every soul whose frequency participates in the orchestra of existence. Each person adds their note, and suddenly the collective song begins to sound different. It is easy to underestimate the significance of personal shift. One person releasing bitterness changes how they speak to their children, and those children carry that transformation into their own lives. One person stepping into authenticity inspires others to do the same, creating ripples that cannot be measured but are undeniably felt. This is the foundation of collective awakening. The realization that inner alignment is never isolated, but always contagious. During these days, the moon serves not as an observer, but as a conductor. Its subtle shift orchestrates movements far larger than any one of us can see. Patterns that seemed fixed begin to dissolve. Structures that felt permanent start to loosen. It is not collapse, it is reordering. Old frameworks give way so that new connections can emerge. And these changes are born not from chaos, but from resonance. The energy shift is visible in the restlessness of systems that no longer fit. It shows up in communities demanding renewal. It rises in voices that can no longer remain hidden. Though this process can appear messy, it is also purposeful. Collective awakening rarely looks graceful while it happens, but in hindsight it always reveals a pattern of growth. There is a global pulse now, stronger than before. It gathers strength from each individual who chooses clarity over confusion, authenticity over pretending, alignment over compromise. And as more choose this, the energy available to all expands. This is how the field tilts. This is how societies pivot. It is not through sudden miracles, but through the steady accumulation of personal breakthroughs that become a collective surge. The moon's influence reminds us that cycles are inevitable. Just as the tide cannot resist its pull, humanity cannot resist the call to transform. There is no reversing what has begun. The collective field has already shifted, and from August 28th to 30th, it intensifies into a rhythm that no one can fully ignore. Even those unaware of astrology or energy will sense that something is different, that interactions feel charged, that choices carry unusual weight. This awakening does not belong to the few, it belongs to all. It does not arrive as an invitation, but as a current already moving through every interaction, every community, every nation. It calls us to recognize that what happens within is inseparable from what unfolds without. The Black Moon portal has opened that recognition, and its influence will not close. From here forward, every inner transformation carries a global consequence. And so, these days are not simply about surviving change. They are about embracing the truth that we are co-creators in the largest shift unfolding. To awaken personally is to participate globally, whether we intend to or not. The question is no longer whether transformation will spread, but how each of us will contribute to the collective resonance that is already reshaping the future. August 30th does not mark an ending, but a widening of the collective horizon. And the days that follow carry echoes of that expansion. The Black Moon portal becomes a backdrop, a silent witness to the way consciousness has been stretched. This is not something happening to a select few. It is threaded into the choices, words and emotions of entire community. Small acts ripple outward, carving invisible pathways for others to walk upon. When global energy shifts, it rarely announces itself with thunder. It moves through ordinary moments, through how people listen, how they stand together, and how they allow vulnerability to coexist with strength. These days are showing us that awakening is not a solitary spark, but a field of countless lanterns, catching light at different speeds. Each one illuminates a piece of the path, and together they create a network too vast to be dim. Tension, conflict, and disconnection may rise at the surface, but they are not signs of collapse. They are signals of recalibration, evidence that the collective mind is adjusting to a wider spectrum of truth. Structures of authority. The moon shift over these days amplifies the undercurrents of emotion that have long been ignored. It brings unspoken fears into open dialogue, but it also stirs courage to respond differently. What is remarkable about this energy shift is how it encourages a synchronization. Without uniformity, each person integrates the change in their own way. Some through silence, others through expression, and many through the delicate balance of both. These days between August 28th and 30th remind us that progress is rarely linear. Moments of intensity can be followed by stillness, and breakthroughs often require a period of uncertainty. This rhythm is not weakness, it is the collective pulse learning to hold more capacity. The more we lean into this rhythm, the more we see that awakening is not about escaping the human experience, but about expanding it. By stepping into these days consciously, Individuals are anchoring something larger than themselves. Each gesture of kindness, each decision rooted in honesty, adds weight to the scale, tipping toward collective renewal. Though the noise of division may grow louder, the undercurrent of unity is steadily strengthened. What rises from this is not a fragile hope, but a grounded recognition that the global energy shift is irreversible. As we move through the close of August, we are not witnessing an isolated event, but a momentum that continues to unfold. The Black Moon portal may mark the gateway, but the walk through it belongs to everyone, each step influencing the resonance of the whole. This is how the collective awakens. Not through sudden revelation, but through steady, undeniable transformation in how we choose to live and connect. From today, the current is different. It is asking not for passive observation, but for active participation. The atmosphere is charged with signals that speak directly to the body, the mind, and the unseen layers of energy we carry. What matters now is not to overthink, but to engage with practices that move energy into alignment. These are not symbolic gestures. They are activations, keys that unlock parts of the self that were waiting for the right moment to awake. One of the simplest ways to ground this shift is through light itself. Step outside at night, even if only for a few moments, and allow the sky to recalibrate you. You are not standing beneath an empty expanse, but within a field alive with frequencies that speak to the nervous system. As you let the cool air surround you, imagine your skin as a receiver absorbing codes that flow through every cell. It is not imagination, it is transmission. Movement is another gateway, not in the rigid form of exercise, but in fluid, intentional gestures that carry purpose. Begin with the hands. Let them circle slowly in the air, as though shaping energy around you. This is an old practice, remembered across cultures. The body as both conductor and amplifier. Such movement clears stagnation, and more importantly, it reactivates dormant pathways that allow spiritual gifts to surface with greater clarity. The point is not perfection, but presence. Water is equally vital now, not only in the act of drinking, but in the conscious way it is honored. Stand with a glass in your hand, and take a pause before consuming. Whisper words of affirmation into it. Speak into its surface, as though it were listening, because it is. Science has already revealed that water holds memory, but spiritually it does. It mirrors your current state, and then magnifies it within you. In this way, every sip becomes an initiation, aligning the inner flow with outer currents. Another practice that carries immense power is sound, not music played passively, but vibration created intention. Humming, chanting, or even holding a single resonant tone allows the inner energy centers to unlock. Each tone moves like a tuning fork through the spine, shaking loose the heavy layers that restrict expansion. As energy intensifies, many are discovering new sensitivities, visions, synchronicities, heightened intuition. These are not random occurrences, they are signs of reactivation, evidence that your field is adjusting to hold more light. Instead of doubting them or trying to explain them away, allow them to unfold. Write down what comes through, not for analysis, but for acknowledgement. Each record becomes a thread in the wider fabric of awakening, a reminder that nothing is appearing without purpose. A more advanced activation can be drawn from ancient practices, the alignment of breath and intention at the heart center. Sit quietly. Place one hand over your chest and imagine a radiant sphere expanding outward. Do not force it. Let it grow naturally as you acknowledge it. This is the seat of coherence, the bridge between inner and outer worlds. When activated with consistency, it brings harmony to the other centers of the body and clears distortions that once blocked spiritual flow. Rituals are often misunderstood as symbolic play. In truth, they are energetic technologies carried forward across generations because they work. The intention is the engine, but the action is the lighting a candle with focus, circling salt around a threshold, or tracing patterns in the air with smoke. These gestures alter the frequency of a space and create resonance within the body. Such acts do not merely honor tradition, they command reality to align with a higher vibration. To integrate the shifts of late August, commit to 3 core actions.
alignment through light, purification through water, and expansion through sound. Each works independently, yet together they create a triangle of activation: mind, body, and spirit, all harmonized in one current. These practices are not about escaping human life, but embodying it with greater depth, with the awareness that you are both participant and creator in the unfolding landscape. Golden advice in this moment is simple but profound. Do not underestimate your own role in the collective awakening. It is easy to believe that global change is driven by large movements, but in truth, it begins with the smallest of acts. The way you choose to honor your own energy ripples outward, influencing the invisible threads that bind communities, nations, and generations. Every ritual performed with intention is a beacon, amplifying stability in a world that is learning to reconfigure itself. This is the time to reclaim agency, not by chasing external validation, but by stepping fully into the practices that charge your field with clarity and power. By engaging with these activations, you are not waiting for energy to arrive. You are becoming the source of it, and once activated, it does not recede. It continues to expand, carrying you forward into cycles yet to come. You are not walking into a future shaped only by external forces. You are sculpting it with every tone you hum, every sip of water blessed with affirmation, every gesture made in conscious movement. The rituals you choose are not temporary. They are the blueprint for the self you are becoming. Through them, you are not only aligning with the shifts of August, but preparing to thrive in the frequencies that will soon unfold. Between August 28th to 30th, the moon is not just passing, it is carrying a message that only the tuned hearts will catch. This is where your voice matters. I want you to anchor this energy by commenting the phrase, "I rise with the moon," below. Let it be your declaration, your seal, your imprint in this moment. Share this video with someone who might be walking through the same unseen doorway, someone who needs to know they are not moving alone. The ripple begins when one soul chooses to pass the light forward. I am sending you my deepest blessing. May the moon's glow during these nights clear away the heaviness you've carried, and may it awaken the strength and clarity you have been searching for. You are seen, you are carried.